Good morning. This is David Clemens from 11th grade U.S. History AP in Chapter 10, and this is the last bit of notes for the Zero Blue Hour class, letter B and letter C in the Chapter 10 notes. So, labor politics and the Depression of 1837 to 1843. So it's quite a long depression, 6 years. Workers formed a political party. In 1828, the Philadelphia Artisans Workers organized the Working Men's Party, which spread to 15 states by 1833. It shared a common ideology and with a local foci and convinced Pennsylvania legislature to authorize tax-supported schools. The party's weakness in statewide elections, though, took a toll, and by the mid-1830s, most politically active workers had joined the Democrats. Financial panic and economic depression. The Panic of 1837 that hit 6 months after Andrew Jackson left office under Martin Van Buren resulted from a drop in money flowing from Britain to the U.S. Cotton and other products prices dropped significantly. More economic problems were seen in 1839 when bond prices fell in Europe and 9 states could not pay interest on their bonds and defaulted on foreign loans. By 1843, the U.S. was in a depression. Canal construction was down 90%. Prices and wages fell nearly 50%. Unemployment reached almost 20% in some sectors. Now, in the Great Depression, unemployment reaches 25%, so this is pretty high for that time. Unions virtually disappeared. President Van Buren got the blame, and some nicknamed him Martin Van Ruin instead of Van Buren. I know. And it's going to make it really tough for him to be president, and it's going to make him lose the election of 1840. Okay? Now, Tippecanoe and Tyler, too, the log cabin campaign. The public blamed the Democrats for economic problems, especially Van Buren, who did nothing to stimulate the economy. Whigs held First National Convention in 1840, First National Political Convention. William Henry Harrison of Ohio, a former war hero, was nominated for president, and John Tyler of Virginia for vice president. Harrison was a war hero of the Battle of Tippecanoe against the Native Americans, the Shawnee, and the War of 1812. He was 68 years old and had little political experience. The Log Cabin Campaign, both parties competed for votes through songs, parades, mass meetings, and lots of negative campaigning. Harrison won 53% of the vote. What the Whigs were looking for was a candidate like Andrew Jackson, a war hero like Andrew Jackson, but who also believed in Whig policies. Now, John Tyler, the vice president, subverts the Whig agenda. Harrison died of pneumonia after 1 month in office. At his inaugural address, he made the longest speech in American history for an inauguration speech. He had been criticized for being too old and so he gave this speech in a small drizzle of a rain without a coat on. And he caught pneumonia later and he died. Okay? Tyler's politics supported the Democrats more than the Whigs, so John Tyler, vice president, becomes president. And Tyler used to be a Democrat and then to become a Whig, but his politics supported the Democrats more, and the Whigs ultimately kicked the President of the United States, supposedly a Whig, out of their party. The Democrats were mad at him because he had helped lose the presidential election in 1840, so the Democrats did not want him back, and he became a president without a party. He had a similar economic policy to Jackson, committed to slavery and states' rights. Jackson's benefited from the crisis among Whigs as well as increased immigration and ethno-cultural politics, the practice of voting along ethnic religious lines that stem from nativism and anti-immigration. Okay? Now that's the end of the chapter. I have a quick little story to tell you, though, about John Tyler. John Tyler was our most fertile president. He had more children than anybody else. He had 15 kids from 2 different wives. Now, his second wife came to him when he was very old, and he had a number of kids with them, even way on up into the 1870s, okay? A number of kids like that. So anyway, one of those people lived to be very old too and had kids, and so in truth, actually not very long ago, we still had a living grandchild, not great, a living grandchild, a very elderly living grandchild of John Tyler, because he had so many kids, lived to be so old, had some over when he was over 70 years old, and then some of them lived to be very old and had kids at an older age. So I think the grandson of John Tyler only died just a few years ago. Kind of extraordinary. Anyway, that's the end of Chapter 10. Take care. We'll see you, and goodbye.